This channel all started off of this video that I made a few months ago. Since then, there has been almost no update to this story whatsoever. However, today I feel obliged to update you all on this situation, and it's rather deep, so this will take a while. In my first video, I stated that these were just allegations, and they were rather baseless as well, seeing as they carried almost no evidence with them, and we are still yet to see any real evidence of almost 90% of that entire Reddit thread. So many of you decided to still comment saying, how dare he be such a raving predator? And memes went all over TikTok like wildfire about how he didn't know what laws there are. You all saw it, and a lot of you participated in it. Now, I would like to reiterate again, like I did in my original video, these are allegations. Allegations do not mean that something 100% happened. It is not fact. It is a side of a story. It goes as far as that without evidence, I'm afraid. Now, to go over the story just briefly, Dave Boyinaband was accused of grooming his fans, a lot of them, and being very manipulative in his relationships, oftentimes weaponizing his mental health. If you've been a fan of Dave, you know that his mental health is a huge part of his comedy, his content, everything he does, he has to mention mental health. There's even a song he did with Odd One Out where he basically is the devil in the song, where Odd One Out is singing about how you can enjoy your life. Then Dave cuts in with a simple line of like, yeah, but you'll get depression one day and die alone.
Moments milk every second. At any time, you could get clinical depression.
Dave was always, and always has been, a very edgy character. And unfortunately, his perfect online persona has now been tarnished forever. But today, we really do put a lot of this to rest. The original Reddit post that my original video was made on has now been deleted by the original author. There's only 3 different groups of people that can delete this post. Those who work at Reddit, being the administrators, those who moderate the subreddit, who don't seem to be moderating anything at all because so many random things have been posted on there lately, it's insane. We're talking allegations, stories that are completely falsified with literally even less evidence than this original one. The only other person who can delete it is the creator of that original post, and Reddit confirms that this post was deleted by the original creator. Now, there's so many different things you can think of immediately off the bat when you look into a situation like this. You can think perhaps they were blackmailed into removing this, as there are rumors of people being blackmailed by Dave's legal team to not speak about this situation at all. However, I really do not believe a word of that whatsoever. What we can take away from this person might actually know Dave in real life. I also doubt this as well. That would then link with the rumor that Dave is trying to blackmail people with legal action, because the only other person that has come out and said they've been threatened with legal action is someone who is actually an old friend of Dave's. Another allegation that I looked into in my original video is the age of Rachel, an ex-girlfriend of Dave's who is very publicly dating and made it very well known that he is dating this girl. When he met this girl, she was 15. And there is also rumors that he may have met up with her when she was 14. She was a fan of his, attending his live shows and events, and he was meeting up with her, eventually having a relationship with this girl when she was apparently when she was 17. He claims to have been there at her 17th birthday party. Dave was in his mid-20s at this time, probably the same age I am now, 23, 24. So it would be pretty damn strange, to say the least. Of course, in the UK, this does not really break any laws. However, grooming is definitely considered in this regard, as he was just hanging out with her, 15, 16. It's not right. I also agree with a lot of you Americans. It's just very odd that we have these laws, but what can you do? Now, one of the many worrying things that came from this Rachel side of the story was the fact that she was underage and also sung this lyric in one of Dave's Let's Make a Song in a Week challenge videos.
Me without my consent.
Which, for the record, Rachel came up with herself.
She was singing Take Me Without My Consent. We can confirm that this is sung by Rachel, as in an earlier episode, Dave literally says,
I guess you need to find a vocalist. For my vocalist, I woke up next to her and figured, yeah, she'll do. Thanks to Rachel for helping out with the vocals and lyrics on this one.
I think that's very strange. I can't even begin to express how strange that sounds. I'm hoping that because it was an edgier time, that he was saying this to try and irk a reaction out of people, just like your boy Shane Dawson. But again, why would you want to be like your boy Shane Dawson? As you can also see in the comments section, Dave Boyinaband leaves. Okay, fine, I do appreciate my girlfriend as a vocalist and a person. Can we get her some thumbs up for both helping with this tutorial and putting up with my inappropriate jokes 24/7? So we can realistically say that these are jokes and nothing more. However, because it's tied to a situation like this, it gives it way more weight, and the density of those jokes increased tenfold. Do I personally think he's a pedophile? No. Do I think he's a bit of a sussy man? Yes. However, we are actually overlooking about 20 or so cases, supposedly, of abuse. whether it be domestic, emotional, the whole 9 yards. It's very scary to think that some of these allegations could be real. Unfortunately, there's still not a single message from Dave that's actually been posted online. There's nothing of him saying something that could actually, get him like caught red-handed. There's nothing saying that he definitely did that or definitely did this. Anything that we have on him, it immediately just has a reason for it being there. For example, these Rachel jokes, these Rachel lyrics, inappropriate jokes 24/7, as he called it 11 years ago. If he labeled it as that, then that's that. There is an ex-girlfriend of his that made a diss track on him, and this song basically corroborates a lot of these stories that have come out about Dave, about him being abusive. Does that mean that these are now true? No. Again, they are still a side of a story and they lack any evidence. The evidence I looked through in my original video, I do admit that I did make it out like it was more of evidence than I now see it as in hindsight. The more I've looked at this case, the more I've realized there's so much missing. Again, like I said in my original video though, you should definitely take this with a pinch of salt, because realistically, none of us can prove this. There's always 3 sides to every story. There's one side, the other side, and then the truth. And you're never going to know that middle side without evidence, and there is none in this case. There's just screenshots of people telling other people how they felt and what happened to them. That isn't evidence. They are allegations, they are stories. Again, we still shouldn't sit here and say, how dare they come up with that and make it all up, because we don't know what's going on. There are reasons to believe that Dave has got a legal team and is threatening people. Would that surprise me? Not at all. That isn't the weirdest thing a YouTuber has done. If we look back at the James Charles situation, for example, that guy literally apologized for messaging children on Snapchat. And then a little legal threats happened, his video disappeared, and he never speaks about it now. Just lives life. All the media still report on everything he does, and he's doing fine. And Dave is basically pretty much given up this gig anyway, and I don't think he's going to return to it anytime soon. I mean, why would you after your reputation's been tarnished? Maybe in a few years you might need some money and you can talk about this situation and make a quick buck, saying how it's all been made up and it was crazy how the internet fiendishly fed off of this story for so long. But realistically, there might actually be some truth to some of this, and it doesn't help when people aren't even feeling safe enough to come out with their stories. It is also a shame that people feel the need to fake and make up stories online, especially in this subreddit. In this case, so many stories have been made up as if they're people that, Dave's old friend and they've got pictures with him. The pictures with him are just literal fan meetups or his band, his concerts and stuff. Yes, he did meet a fan at one of his concerts and then end up sleeping with them, but that doesn't mean that every fan he's ever met he slept with. And I think a lot of these people are making up stories because this is a great thing to capitalize on. Some of these people may have actually gone through what their stories say they went through, but we will never know because it's literally thrown into a mud pile full of other fake random stories. I've ran a few of the stories through Google as well and found similarities in language. In fact, entire sentences ripped from other allegations about other YouTubers. It is definitely a trend to just basically say you have an allegation on somebody and hope to death that something comes from it and you get away with it. Because there are people that have made careers off of accusing someone of something and riding the wave and making so much money. It is literally a cash grab, and it's more common than you'd think. What's scary as well is that we don't have any sort of real world name, face, or personality to link any of these stories to anyone. We have Rachel's face and her name and her public profile, but that is it. And what's hypocritical I found about this original story is they all wanted to hide anonymous, and they claim there's a group of 20 victims of Dave all in a support group together. You're telling me none of them have gone public? You're telling me none of them thought it was weird to publicly out someone else's story, another one of them, another victim in their scenario, but under the same man? They think it's okay to make her public without her consent, completely making this entire thing hypocritical and going full circle. She sung the song, Take Me Without My Consent. You found that to be almost evidence in your story that you claim happened to you, but you want to remain anonymous so you don't get it because you don't feel safe around Dave, yet you share the girl who sung that song, Take Me Without My Consent, and you take her public profile and say, look, I mean, he even said he dated her. Look at this. If that is real, there's so much jealousy going on there and their morals are completely out of whack. Highly, highly doubt it's real. And I think that actually solidifies the case that it is actually false allegations completely. Now, I said in my original video as well, Look out for false allegations. They happen way more commonly than you may think. Every case needs to be looked at a case-by-case basis. You shouldn't be saying, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. It's so fucked up. Or looking at a case going, I don't believe them. I don't believe them. Or saying, we should believe everyone. We should believe every person who comes out saying that when they're accusing people. Just don't believe it. Just read it. Understand their story. Have some empathy, because they clearly, in their mind, they genuinely feel like they went through that. It's very, very rare where they completely falsify everything. They usually have gone through something to warrant them writing anything at all. So at least show some empathy, whether it be toward them or just internally to yourself, and then move on. Maybe wait for some updates. Maybe watch videos like mine or other people's discussing it and going into detail about what the allegations are. You do not need to then play judge and the rest of the fucking court and the rest of the jury because you feel like you know what happened, because you can suss it out from his language and his content. Oh, it all adds up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We still don't know whether these are real or fake. We don't know if someone's being blackmailed. We don't know if someone has completely made this up as a giant hit piece on Dave Boyinaband as some kind of social experiment. It could be Dave, for all we know. He could return and say, look, I managed to trick the internet into thinking I was a pedophile. It really would not be too far-fetched for Dave. I think it's about time we start really, really, really thinking before we just make an assumption. I've witnessed a very, very serious false allegation before. I watched it all unfold in front of me and it completely stunned me. For a year, stunned me. I stopped making content. I stopped talking to people. I stopped literally living my life because it stunned me so much. And you have to be so careful because you do not understand what it does to people. You have no idea. It doesn't matter whether these people are kind of a bit creepy to you or if these people are just downright not your type of person. Maybe they're evil in your mind. Maybe they're really great, but you can't believe they did that and that really annoyed you, therefore they're done. But with not even a single message screenshot from Dave, this story just falls completely through, and it now being deleted basically solidifies it that it is dead in the mud. I don't think I need to go any further into anything else. I think that's about it. That's the update of the story. Please, please listen to content creators, especially myself, when we say at the beginning of our videos, these are allegations. Take them with a grain of salt. Do not assume immediately by the end of the video, oh, that's true, that's false. Especially without evidence. I even said that in my video, there's no evidence, so, don't just assume these words are fact. But just remember that sometimes these stories are very sensitive to people, and they are stories that they may feel like they've been through or actually have been through. So just have the empathy to be able to feel sorry for them and be supportive towards them, because in the end, the truth should avail, but not always. And it's harder for it to avail when more and more stories like this come out and they're completely falsified, and then people continue to throw falsified stories on top. It's a real shame. Thanks for watching. See you later.